So I've decided to do an introduction about me and the work I do and how I came to do this. So I've been working with children for around 16 years now. I first started out when my daughter, who's now 15, was a baby. I enrolled at Swindon College and I did a teaching assistant course at level 2. And I also worked to get the experience in a primary school where my mum would look after my daughter for me so I could enable me to go to college and do my work experience. So I then planned to do my level 3, but then I got pregnant with my second daughter, who is going to be 13 soon. I took some time out and then I started working in the library closest to where I live, and I was running story and rhyme time there. And that got really, really big. So we used to have sort of every week, maybe 20, 25 children, and at most 60 children. I was quite good at promoting on social media, so on Facebook, when I would be there and what we would be doing there. Which then led me to go and get a job at Kids About. So I became their marketing manager there, which was really, really good. And I spent 4 years there, and I used to do messy play. I used to organise the events. I used to do the social media, get people in for baby and toddler sessions, classes. And there's lots of things I did there. And I loved my role there. It was absolutely brilliant. But what I found was I kind of really wanted to go and work in a team. So the job I was doing it was quite in isolation, as much as I loved it. So I then applied at the school where my daughters attended, and I became a teaching assistant. And I started off in year 1, so not in my daughter's class, next door to her. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I did a little bit of teaching, bit of covering teachers. And then I've mentioned on the previous podcast, our Senko, Michelle, asked me to start running some groups for the year 5s and 6s, particularly the boys that were having quite sort of big emotions, and doing some wellbeing work with them. So I did a bit of research and looked into how I was going to deliver the sessions, and then it just grew and grew, and I ended up having 20 children in total. So that's how I would spend my afternoons. I would do my mornings as a TA and then do my afternoons running wellbeing sessions, which I absolutely loved. I then was approached with a flyer for Drawing And Talking, but that didn't come off in the end just due to funding. So then I was next approached with ELSA, to Emotional Literacy Support Assistant, and that was in its pilot scheme. So within those 2 years, schools didn't have to pay. So I went on training and I actually qualified, got my certificate. It came through. I managed to finish it the very week that we went into lockdown. So I was really, really lucky that I was able to access the 6 weeks course and get my qualification for that. I then decided to leave the school I was in, and I went and worked in a different school, and I was there for a couple of years. Then I left there because I felt the direction was changing in terms of there was a lot of pressures from above to plug academic gaps, and well-being was kind of being sidelined when I didn't agree with the approach. So I left and I started to work in children's homes. So over this course of time, I have self-funded lots and lots of courses. So I have done Place to Be, Mental Health Champions. I've done Mindfulness for Children. I've done an introduction into educational psychology. So that doesn't make me an educational psychologist. It's just getting some CPD points and understanding how that works, because I was trained by educational psychologists when I was in ELSA. So I then have also done mental wellbeing in children and young people certificate. I've done a family support worker certificate, a diploma, which has really, really helped me with supporting families as a whole. So I've been able to use a lot of this. And I did the complete SEND diploma, levels 2, 3 and 4. I've dipped into understanding CBT, what child counselling looks like, and a solution-based therapy course as well. And the final one is child psychology diploma, level 3. So just lots and lots of CPD points, lots of learning, so that I have a better understanding when I deliver my work and how to communicate best with a child. I went and worked in children's homes for 6 months, but it was not for me. I did lots of work with teenagers, which was great because all my experience had up until that point been with primary. So children in children's homes, I worked across 4 children's homes in Swindon, outside of Swindon, and did a lot of work around attachment and trauma. I wasn't able to use my drawing and talking qualification, which I achieved when I left and went to work there. I wasn't being able to use it effectively. So for me, it just wasn't working. I self-funded that, as I have all the other courses that I've named today. And I passed in my foundation of drawing and talking. I passed that in October 2021. So I was really keen to use that in the children's homes, but it wasn't to be. So I put the feelers out. I put stuff on social media because, as I said, I knew how to promote what I was looking to do from my time when I worked at Kids About and when I worked in the library. I just knew how to put that out there to people. And I got 5 children to come and do drawing and talking with me, and I had to fit that around my shifts at the children's home because I was working 2 till 10 sometimes on the days when I didn't have my daughters. So I made things work. I would work in the day and then go off and do my 2 till 10. So it was tiring, but I really wanted to see if this was going to work and if it was going to be a feasible thing and not just something in my head. And I absolutely loved it. I was able to deliver it. I felt well, and I wanted more. So I decided to quit my job working in children's homes, handed in my notice, and then I started I started doing drawing and talking in March 2022, and then officially left my job in the May. So it was that quick. It was like from the March, took on 5 children, quit end of April, and handed my notice in, and I was gone by May. And then that was it. I woke up the following morning after leaving my role, and in my head I thought I would get work from emailing all the schools. I didn't anticipate the way it was going to go, but that's fine. It was different. So I emailed every single school. I got up at 5 in the morning, emailed every single primary school. I think I emailed secondary schools at that point as well. I think that might have come later. Told them what I did. Some schools have drawing and talking practitioners, like as they do have, so the TAs would deliver ELSA or drawing and talking. And then I had a few schools show interest. By this point, my Facebook page was up and running and lots of parents were contacting me. So it just exploded, really. That's all I can say. It all happened from day one. And I have 25 to 30 children a week that I see. Predominantly they are parents paying privately for me to see their child, so whether that be at Washbourne House in Rawton, which is where my office is, or I go into their homes, or I go into schools. So parents pay for me to go in and the school give me a room. And then I give them my enhanced DBS. I'm on the update system, so anyone can check that I am who I say I am. I've got all my certificates. I've got safeguarding policies in place, and I do my safeguarding training every year. So from then, I then started to get in front of school Senkos and tell them about what I was doing whilst I was in the school, because a parent paid for me privately to go in. I'd book a meeting. And then I now work in a primary school and a secondary school, and I have done for 3 years for one and 4 for the other. And they then give me a list of children that I work with. And I do that at a slightly reduced rate because they're giving me more children to work with. So that is a consistent thing. And I absolutely love both of those schools that I work for. They're amazing. Everybody is on board. Fantastic mentality, and they just really, really get it. And I adore working at both of the schools. It's amazing. I did my advanced course in the July 2022, so that kind of brings me up to date with the majority of my training that I've done. I am really, really lucky because I don't have to do too much on social media. There'll be more of a social media presence lately because I'm putting out there about my podcast and trying to realign how I'm doing things, what eventually will go on the Drawing and Talking page and what will go on the Wellbeing Matters page. The Wellbeing Matters page links to my podcast, and Drawing and Talking obviously links to Drawing and Talking. So I need to kind of possibly look at separating the two out, and that's something I'm working on. But I am, as I said, I'm very lucky. I've got families that recommend me to other families. So then they know each other, they're friends, and it's just built a massive community. In my first year, after I completed my first year, we put out an advert. So that was very kindly put together by one of my best friends, Abby, and her husband, Dan, who is a videographer, and he's a wedding photographer and videographer. He has his own business called Weathered Oak. And they put the most fantastic advert together. And I had children come in on the day for a group photo, which meant the world to me because I know a lot of children would find that very, very difficult socially. Children that are autistic coming in and being a part of that photo was huge to me, absolutely huge. And the children that featured in the advert as well, where we asked them questions about drawing and talking and the difference it's made to them, just them giving it their time just meant the absolute world. So that is available on the Facebook page for you to have a little look at as well. As I say, it's been like it's surpassed anything that was in my head. It's been absolutely amazing. And the parents, even parents that I don't see their children anymore, they're still talking about me, telling people about the programme, recommending me, it's signposting parents to me. It means the absolute world. And I say that a lot, and it probably gets boring for people to hear it, but I want people to know how much that means. So that brings me to where we are now. I do a lot of signposting to parents for when they finish the programme, where they go next, because there are a lot of children that end on conflict. We look at 3 stages in Drawing and Talking. So we have initial, I am going to start losing my voice again, initial where they play it quite safe, and they may enter into conflict when they're wrestling with something, and resolution where they maybe have come through that struggle and come out the other side of it. So if they hit resolution, then perhaps they don't need anything further. But if they're at conflict stage, then for me to be able to recommend other people to families is something I'm asked all the time. Fran, do you know of this? Fran, do you know of that? What's next? What do you think would be ideal for my child based on where the outcomes of where we are now? So for me, I'm always putting stuff on my page, and I think it's really important that we share services with people, because it is a minefield. I've posted about this today. It is a minefield. People don't know where to go next, and they do want to go somewhere that's recommended to them. So for me, I may say, oh, I've heard of this, I know of this, or I'll say, I recommend this. And the only reason I'll recommend is if I've been there myself, checked it out, and know it is what it says it is. I need to see it for myself to be able to recommend to a family. So this is where I got the idea of the podcast. And I knew I wanted to do a podcast for the last year, and there's things I'm saying in sessions, and there's things that I'm talking about with parents. I'm like that, and I might put bits on my Facebook if I remember, but to actually talk about some of those things and share some of those things on on a platform like a podcast is really invaluable. And I talked today about how podcasts, they mean a lot to me, because I listen to very stupid podcasts. So I listen to lots and lots of comedy, and I listen to Shagged, Married, Annoyed with Chris and Rosie Ramsey. I've been listening to them for 6 years. Without fail, on a Friday, episode comes out, I listen to it. I listen to Pete Wicks and Sam Thompson together. Amazing. Sam with his ADHD and autism, because he's recently been diagnosed as being autistic as well, and then Pete coming in dry. It's just, the combination is amazing. And I also listen to Fern Cotton, Happy Place, when I'm in the mood to have a bit more of a deep dive on things, and I'll pick what I want to listen to on there. I listen to lots of Audible, so I'm part of a book group at the moment called Spiritual Geek, which is through Sian Baxter, who does breath work. We've linked up before and done breath work with some of the mums who come through. So I'm working with the children, but I wanted to do some breath work with Sian, to do the breath work with these people, these parents who are not making time for themselves. So I'm part of Spiritual Geek on Telegraph. I've got the Telegraph app purely for this reason, because Sian will then recommend, she'll give us our book of the month, and then we'll listen to it or read it. So for me, I'm in the car all the time and I will listen to it. And then I've been buying the book on Vinted, and then I'll go through, and the intention is to go through bits that I've gone, ooh, when I'm in the car, and highlight. Although my daughter said that's terrible. She's like, you cannot highlight in a book. That is disrespectful to the book. And I'm like, well, it's kind of, it's what it is, Lucy. It's a self-development book, and there's things in there that I need to go back to, and things I want to talk about on the podcast. And she's like, okay, fine, I understand. So going back to what I've said is, or what I was saying, I recommend people all the time, and I signpost parents to people all the time, but there's still, it's not getting out as much as I had hoped, because people still come to me and they haven't seen my posts. So, you know, a lot of that is to do with the algorithm. I understand that. And well, I say I understand it. I don't really understand how algorithm works. I'm working on that all the time. But if we've got a podcast and people follow the podcast and they listen to the podcast, you're going to hear it. I've recommended somebody today for an alternative provision that I work in at the moment. And they're like, I didn't know about that. So people are struggling. People don't know where to turn. And I need to bring this together now. So I've built a community of parents and families. I now need to bring together a community of alternative provisions, and bring it all together and show what's out there, and showcase these people, and celebrate them, because they're doing amazing work. And I want everyone to hear that, and hear. I love hearing, when I listen to stuff on Audible, and I'm listening to these self-development type books. The bit I love all the advice, and I love all of it, but the bit I home in on is their backstory. Why? What got you to where you are now, and why? What drove you to be where you are? Like, going back to when I worked in children's homes, a lot of the people that worked there had actually been in children's homes themselves. So they've been experienced, you know, trauma and these type of attachments, and they've gone back and then gone, well, I've experienced this, but now I want to give back and help as well, because I understand, I've been there. So a lot of, when you hear these people's stories, there has been trauma, and there has been negative experiences that have driven them into this role where we care and we nurture and we provide support, and we want to give back. So it's all really, really interesting, and I just want to showcase that. I want people to come on the podcast. I want to talk, because I love talking, and I want to have interesting conversations, and I want to hear it. I want to hear all of it. So there's been 3 guests so far, and there's more lined up. I've got one tomorrow. I'm going to Swindon Hub on Tuesday, and I'm hoping that they would be interested, which I haven't had that conversation yet, but in my head that's going to happen. I've got more and more people coming through that don't showcase who they are fully, and they don't get that recognition. So yeah, I want to build a community, and I want to know for everyone to understand what is out there. I've been given a document that is 18 pages long, and it's all regarding alternative provisions. That's huge. 18 pages, and it's small writing, and there's like 30 provisions on there, I think. I haven't looked at it fully, and I'm working my way through that, and I want to get as many as I possibly can on the podcast. This is super exciting, and I am buzzing from this. Every time I do one of these, I just feel like this is the right thing for me, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it is really, really exciting. I still love being a drawing and talking practitioner, but having something that I'm doing on the side of that, it's just something new, and it's really, really cool. So I'm going to just do a couple of minutes about drawing and talking. So for those of you that maybe don't know what it is, if you're new to this and you don't know me, then you won't know what drawing and talking is. But if you do know me, you probably do, because that's all I talk about. So drawing and talking is for 5 years and up. So anyone from 5 up until 100 can do drawing and talking. Now for me, I have chosen to work with 5 to 18-year-olds because that's the demographic of children that I am used to working with, and that's where I'm comfortable, and that's where I sit. So drawing and talking is really, really gentle, and it's non-intrusive. It's very, very different to a talking therapy. Some children may get on really, really well doing a talking therapy, and they might be absolutely fine. But this is accessing the subconscious as opposed to the conscious. So there's no objective for me as the adult. The child does the drawing, the child talks, and I hold the space for them. The only objective is their emotional well-being, and for me, I want to build a trusting relationship with them. So that is literally it. It is not a behaviour modification. There are some amazing outcomes that I've had, and they are detailed on the Facebook page because I've got reviews on there. So that's a bonus, but that isn't the objective at all. It's for a child to draw and let me into their internal world, and we play with the picture. So it's really, really simple, but it's really, really effective. I've worked with, I think, about 280 children now. And children have a break, and some children come back to me. We're dealing with the how, not the why. So that's really, really important. We're tapping in to facilitate an internal healing process. And it is really, really effective. What I do is a parent will come to me and ask me about drawing and talking and ask me about my availability. So what I always ask is if we can do a phone call. So I'll book in a phone call with just the parent, 2 parents if necessary, whoever is there, the adult, the caregiver. And that time is used so that they can offload to me what is going on in their family home, what that looks like, and how that affects everybody. And often parents will say to me, first thing I'll say is, I don't know where to start. And I say, start wherever you need to start. And if we need to bounce back and forth over the timeline, that's fine. You start where you need to start. We'll bounce back and forth. I'll ask you some questions if I need to. But ultimately, I'm just going to let you speak. Lots of emotion will come out over the phone, and then I hear the word sorry. And I always say, please never apologise for getting emotional. This is an emotive topic. This is emotive because it's your child. And I would imagine you're probably holding a lot in. Because when your child is struggling, you're not going to show them you're struggling. You're going to remain, your face is probably going to remain quite impassive when they're talking to you, or their behaviour is a certain way. You're trying to hold everything together. So when you talk to me, that all unravels. And so it should. I want to hear everything. I want to hear it all. So if you get upset, that's a good thing, because we need to let that out. And that's why we do the phone call. So letting a parent offload, and then I'll come in with explaining, if they haven't already looked on the page and they haven't seen everything, then I'll explain exactly what drawing and talking is and what it does and what I've said on here. And then I book a home visit. So if a child is coming to work with me at Washbourne House, they might come to Washbourne House because it's nice for a child to see the environment they're going to be in, especially if they feel nervous. Or I'll come to the family home. And if I'm working in the family home, of course, I'll go to the family home. I send across my bio to the parent, so the bio that is aimed at adults. I then have a bio that is aimed at children, which I know a lot of you have seen. And that just talks about the fact that I'm scared of, I don't even know if it says this in it actually, I might need to amend it, but I'm scared of frogs, that I don't like tuna, that my favourite colour used to be red and I've changed it to yellow because I'm controversial like that, that I'm a bit weird. Loads of random facts. Oh, that I'm 45 and that I don't look it, and that they're welcome to tell me that when they meet me. Just loads of random crazy stuff that a child can relate to, because they don't want to hear well, I only work for Anne if she's got this certificate and this diploma. They don't care. They want to hear the fun stuff, and they want to hear that I've got children, because that makes me maternal and nurturing, which it does. And they want to hear funny stories, and just they need to feel comfortable with me. So the bio sent over, there's a picture of my room sent over if they're coming to Washbourne House. I then go to the family home and I spend 10 minutes with them, 10-15 minutes, just chatting rubbish, really. I'll just talk a load of rubbish, and then they just laugh at me, and then they're like, oh, she's okay, she can come back. And I'll take their pack over. So I ask the parent what is their favourite colour, because I don't want to be on the back foot choosing the wrong colour. Or if I don't know what it is, I'll just take a pack and say, tell me what your favourite colour is. This is just a mock-up of one. You choose and I'll get it for you. If I haven't got it, I'll try my best to get it for you. So in the pack is their paper and pencil. And then I've got a log in there. So this is my bit of admin. I fill out date, and there's a comment section. I don't show them the bit where it says where I write initial conflict resolution. They don't need to know that. And then here's your bit of admin, a slip of paper, which is sessions 1 to 12. And every time you see me, you circle it. And then I'll flip the paper over when we finish, and I'll put the session number and the date on there, and I will pop it into your folder, and I will keep your folder safe until I see you next time. That's a really, really important thing to say. And I do. And I keep it really safe. No one's allowed to look at it. And the only people that are allowed to look at it is me and that child. And then when, after the 12 weeks, they get their folder back and they can take it home and they can show whoever they want. And I say to them, when you go home, your parent can make a hot drink for themselves and you get to eat 3 biscuits. And they're like, what? I said, yep, 3 biscuits. That's how many you're allowed, because you've got a lot of presentation to do. You've got 12 weeks there to show your parents. So you're going to need fuel. So 3 biscuits. Sessions are confidential, but I will encourage a child. I always say to a child, anything you say to me stays in this room. I want it to be to feel like it's your safe space, like it is perhaps when your safe space is at home. Then I want the same for when you're with me. I want you to feel like that. But if you say something to me that is really key, and I think that we should tell a grown-up about that, then I'll say to you, how about we go and tell school about that, or go and tell your parents about that? And if they say yes, it's yes. And if you say no, it's no. So I still build the trust, but I'm getting them to recognise if they say something key, I will point that out to them. I also encourage parents to text me or call me, and we arrange a convenient time to chat if anything comes up at home. And then we just keep that well-rounded approach of we all know, and we all know what's going on, and we're all communicating effectively. So I work with, as soon as that child works with me, they then become my baby. So I have 2 babies, my daughters, even though they're only 13 and 15, they're still my babies. Your children become my babies. So I treat your children like they're my children. And I would like to support and nurture the whole family. That's really, really important to me. Last point. It's really, really important that when I meet with a child, I am not dressed professionally. I am wearing, most of the time, I do wash it, my Drawing and Talking hoodie. So I have a logo on the front, a logo on the back, and I have my jeans on, I have my trainers on. I am not going into a school or a home, or they're coming to my office dressed, I can't be uncomfortable, and dressed like a stiff in a suit. Because quite often, those children would have experienced that by having someone come into school and observe them, say like the ed psych, or, whoever it might be, SALT, or speech and language therapy, or whatever it might be. They will probably dress very, very differently to me. So for me, I've got to set myself apart from that, and that suits me because I like being comfy. So that's huge as well. I think if you're going to get on a level with a child, please don't go in dressed up really, really smart. And you don't need to speak in a professional voice. Like, you just need to get on a level with a child. A lot of kids call me bruv. I call them bruv. We take the mick out of each other. It's about being real. And that's who I am, and that really, really works. I was told yesterday that, I was told yesterday, I've been told lots of times that lots of people think I have ADHD because I talk really fast, I don't shut up, I've got a million ideas in my head. But I don't seem to resonate with a lot of other things, ADHD. I might have ADHD, who knows? I'm not going to go and get tested, not because I'm scared. If I've got it, I've got it. Like, it's fine, like, it doesn't bother me. And maybe I do. Maybe that's why I have such an affinity with kids. I have no idea. But I don't know how to wrap this up, really. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, if I have ADHD, fine. I know a million people that do. I have a million adults around me that have ADHD. And it is what it is, really. I'm going to stop there because it's like coming up to 32 minutes and you're probably bored of my voice. And yeah, I kind of think I've said everything I want to say, and hopefully that explains what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and all the rest of it. Any questions, drop me a message. Thank you.